Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cozy English Corner. I am your host, Alex. Today, we are talking about something that makes almost everyone uncomfortable. I am looking out the window right now here in Columbus, Ohio. It is freezing rain outside, typical unpredictable Midwestern weather. And honestly, the topic today feels just as cold and uncomfortable as the weather outside. We are talking about money, specifically why we feel so shy, nervous, and sometimes even ashamed to talk about it. To help me explore this, I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Sienna. She is a freelance illustrator living right here in the Short North Arts District. Welcome, Sienna.
Thank you, Alex. It is great to be here, even on such a freezing cold day. I had to run from High Street to the studio just to escape the wind.
I am glad you made it safely. Now, Sienna, you made a big change recently. You left a stable corporate job to work for yourself.
I did. And that change forced me to face my biggest fear. I suddenly had to talk about money every single day. I had to set my prices, ask clients to pay me, and follow up when they did not.
That sounds incredibly stressful, especially here in the Midwest. We have this culture of being Midwestern nice. We want to be polite, we want to accommodate everyone, and talking about money feels like the exact opposite of that.
Exactly. You feel like you are being rude just by asking for what you deserve. But it is not just in business. It happens in our personal lives too. Last week, I went to dinner with a group of friends. Someone suggested a really nice restaurant. Everyone ordered drinks and expensive meals. I only ordered a small salad because I needed to save money.
I think I know where this story is going. Let me guess. The bill arrived at the end of the night?
Yes, the waiter put the bill on the table, and one of my friends just smiled and said, "Let us just split it evenly." My heart dropped.
Your salad probably cost $15, but dividing the whole bill meant you had to pay $50 or $60.
Exactly. But I just sat there. I completely froze. I did not want to sound poor. I did not want to ruin the evening. So I handed over my credit card, went home, and could not sleep that night.
That is the real pain we do not talk about. We talk about money being awkward, but it goes deeper than that. It is the anxiety of credit card debt keeping you awake at 3 in the morning. It is the quiet shame of feeling like you are falling behind your friends. We pretend we have money when we do not, just to protect our pride.
That is entirely true. I valued my pride at that dinner table more than my financial security. It is completely irrational, but in that moment, the fear of judgment is so strong.
It is actually not just in your head, Sienna. I read a fascinating psychological study recently. Researchers used brain scans to observe people while they discussed money problems. They found that talking about financial stress activates the exact same regions in the human brain that process physical pain.
Wait, really? So when I felt that tightness in my chest at the restaurant, my brain was actually reacting as if I was physically injured?
Yes, for our brains, social rejection and financial insecurity are deeply connected to survival. That is why your mind tells you to just stay quiet and pay the bill.
That changes everything for me. It makes me realize that avoiding the conversation does not protect me. It just prolongs the pain.
Exactly. So for everyone listening who is learning English, we want to give you the tools to stop this pain. You need the right phrases to protect your finances, and you need to know how to use them politely. Let us go back to your restaurant story, Sienna. Instead of staying silent, what is a polite phrase you could have used when the bill arrived?
I could have said, "Could we ask for separate checks, please?" It is simple, but it stops the problem before the bill is even printed.
That is a perfect phrase. Separate checks means the waiter brings a different bill for every person. You only pay for what you ordered. But what if the bill is already on the table? Another common phrase in standard American English is "let us go Dutch."
Yes, go Dutch. That is an idiom. It means everyone pays for their own meal. But honestly, as a learner, idioms can be intimidating. What is a more direct way to say it?
If you want to be direct but polite, you can say, "I will just cover my portion." Cover means to pay for, And portion means your share of the food.
I will just cover my portion. I like that. It sets a boundary immediately without sounding aggressive.
Exactly. Setting boundaries with money is crucial, and that brings us to an even harder situation. What happens when a friend asks to borrow money from you?
Oh, that is the worst, especially if you know they are struggling, but you are also struggling. I once lent $50 to a friend, and I never saw it again.
And it is not just about the $50, is it? It damages the relationship. Every time you see that friend, you remember the unpaid debt. It breeds resentment.
Yes, resentment is exactly the word. You stop calling them, you distance yourself, you lose a friendship over a small amount of money, simply because nobody wanted to talk about it honestly.
To prevent that, we need a polite way to say no. If someone says, "Can I borrow some money?" the best response is, "I would love to help, but I am a bit tight on money right now."
I am a bit tight on money. That is such a useful phrase. It is honest, but it does not require you to share all your private financial details.
Right, it gives you a shield. Another good phrase is, "It is not in my budget this month." This makes it sound like you have a strict financial plan, and you simply cannot break the rules of your own plan.
That takes the personal emotion out of it. It is not that I do not want to help you, it is just that my budget does not allow it. I will definitely use that.
Now, let us switch from personal life to professional life. Sienna, as a freelancer, you negotiate a lot. How do you respond when a client offers you a price that is too low?
In the beginning, I used to just accept it. I felt desperate for the work. I would work 40 hours on a project and realize I was making less than minimum wage.
That is devastating. You are putting in professional effort, but not receiving professional compensation.
It truly was. Over time, I learned that I have to advocate for myself. Now, if the pay is too low, I say, "My standard rate for this project is higher, but we can reduce the scope of work to fit your budget."
That is brilliant. Reduce the scope of work. It means you will not lower your value, but you will do less work for less money. It is a fair compromise.
Yes, and sometimes, in a professional setting, people will straight up ask you, "How much do you make in a year?" I find that question so intrusive.
Intrusive is the perfect word. It means someone is invading your privacy. In many cultures, talking about your salary is considered highly inappropriate. If someone asks you, "How much do you earn?" you have every right to refuse to answer. You can politely say, "I would rather not say. I prefer to keep my finances private."
I would rather not say. It is so simple, but it feels so hard to say out loud. We are conditioned to answer questions when people ask them.
That is the core issue. We feel obligated to answer. But learning a language is not just about vocabulary. It is about learning how to navigate culture and establish your personal boundaries. Let us shift gears. Imagine you are shopping. You go to the Ohio State University campus area. Maybe you want to buy some nice sports gear, but the prices are crazy.
Oh, game day merchandise is so expensive. A simple hoodie can cost $80.
Exactly. You look at the price tag and you want to express that it is too expensive, but you do not want to insult the store owner. What do you say?
Providing examples. Usually, I just say, "That is a bit pricey for me," or "That is slightly out of my budget."
Excellent vocabulary. Pricey is a fantastic alternative to expensive. It sounds a little softer and more conversational. Out of my budget places the responsibility on your wallet, not on their product.
That is a great point. It feels much less offensive than saying, "Your store is too expensive." You are just stating a fact about your own financial limit.
All right, let us slow down. It is time for our word tour. This is where we review the most critical phrases from today's discussion, so our learners can truly remember them. First phrase, separate checks, meaning asking the restaurant to provide individual bills for everyone at the table.
Example, "Before we order, could we get separate checks, please?"
Second phrase, I'm a bit tight on money, meaning you currently do not have extra money to spend or lend.
Example, I cannot go to the concert this weekend. I am a bit tight on money right now.
Third phrase, out of my budget, meaning the price of an item is higher than the amount you planned to spend.
Example, I love that jacket, but it is completely out of my budget.
Fourth phrase, I would rather not say, meaning a polite, firm way to decline answering a personal question, like about your salary.
Example, when someone asks how much rent I pay, I just tell them I would rather not say.
Those are excellent. Write these down. Practice saying them out loud. The physical act of speaking them builds muscle memory. It makes it easier when you are actually nervous.
And please remember, everyone feels awkward talking about money. It is not just because English is your second language. Native speakers struggle with this every single day.
That is the absolute truth. The anxiety is universal. The difference is simply having the vocabulary to protect yourself. Sienna, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your personal stories. I know it requires vulnerability to talk about these things.
Thank you for having me, Alex. I hope my embarrassing restaurant story helps someone else feel a little more confident tomorrow.
I am certain it will. Now, to everyone listening, we have a challenge for you. Think about everything we discussed today. Go to the comments section. We want to know. What is the most awkward money situation you have ever experienced? Did someone ask to borrow money? Did you struggle to split a bill? Write your story in English. Do not worry about perfect grammar. The goal is to express yourself and practice. We read every single comment. If you found this episode helpful, please like the video and subscribe to Cozy English Corner. It helps us continue making deep, meaningful content for you. Until next time, stay warm, protect your boundaries, and keep practicing your English. Goodbye, everyone.